In 2 days, the interstellar object 3I Atlas will make its closest approach to Earth. December 19th is also a new moon, meaning this is the best viewing opportunity we will ever get. NASA and ESA have both turned their X-ray telescopes towards 3I Atlas, and NASA just lost contact with its MAVEN spacecraft at Mars, the same spacecraft that captured data on 3I Atlas during its October flyby. Let's get into everything that we need to know. As always, I'm here to report the information without bias, and you can decide what to believe. You can find the sources in my detailed articles at ufonews.co, along with in the description box below. Hey ufologists, I'm Cristina Gomez, and welcome to this episode of UFO News Updates. On December 19th at 6:02 Universal Time, which is 1 a.m. Eastern, 3I Atlas will reach its closest point to Earth at 268.9 million kilometers. That is about 167 million miles, and the timing could not be better. December 19th is a new moon, so there will be no moonlight interfering with observations. Here's what Avi mentioned on Newsmax.
It's actually a very fortunate coincidence that the new moon occurs on December 19th when 3 Atlas is closest to Earth, so there wouldn't be any moonlight contaminating the images that we get. There will be also data obtained by the Webb telescope, the Hubble telescope. There are too many telescopes available for anyone to block that data.
Hundreds of observatories around the world are preparing to observe, including the Hubble Space Telescope and the James Webb Space Telescope. For anyone with a medium-sized telescope, 3I Atlas is currently in the constellation Virgo and moving into Leo. Now, let's talk about what NASA and ESA have been doing. The European Space Agency's XMM Newton spacecraft observed 3I Atlas for about 20 hours on December 3rd from a distance of roughly 289 million kilometers. Japan's XRISM spacecraft also captured X-ray data earlier this month. But you might be asking, why X-rays? When the solar wind interacts with the gas surrounding a comet, it provides X-ray emissions. This allows scientists to detect gases that other instruments cannot easily see. And these observations are helping researchers determine exactly what 3I Atlas is made of and whether its composition matches comets from our own solar system. But then you have the MAVEN situation. NASA's MAVEN spacecraft, which stands for Mars Atmosphere and Volatile Evolution, has been orbiting Mars since 2000. It went silent, and here's what happened. MAVEN was working normally, then passed behind Mars as it does during every orbit, and when it emerged from behind the planet, there was no signal. NASA has been trying to re-establish contact ever since.
And now, for the first time in a decade, NASA has suddenly lost contact with MAVEN. What happened?
Well, the spacecraft went behind Mars when it obviously cannot communicate with Earth, but when it came back, there wasn't any contact, no signal, and NASA is trying to figure out what to do about it. The last scientific data that was valuable that came from MAVEN was the data from the passage of 3I Atlas close to Mars within 30 million kilometers. That happened on October 2nd. We saw some of the data in the press conference that NASA organized.
As for December 15th, NASA reported that a fragment of tracking data suggests MAVEN was rotating unexpectedly when it emerged from behind Mars, and its orbit may have changed, but the cause remains unknown. MAVEN had observed 3I Atlas when the object passed within 30 million kilometers of Mars on October 2nd, and some of that data was shown at the NASA press conference in November. NASA has two other active orbiters at Mars, which is the Mars Odyssey and the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, which remain operational. There is no confirmed connection between the MAVEN anomaly and 3I Atlas, but we can say that the timing is pretty suspicious. Now let's talk about what's been happening with 3I Atlas itself. Astronomers around the world are reporting a significant color change. When 3I Atlas was first discovered in July, it had a deep red color, and that reddish hue indicated dust and organic compounds dominated in its coma, similar to what we see in the trans-Neptunian objects. Then in late September, it shifted to green, and that green glow is caused by diatomic carbon, or C2 molecules, which emit green light when energizing by solar radiation. Geophysicist Stefan has been tracking these changes. Take a listen.
Here we see 3i Atlas now taking on a striking gold color. This image taken on December 10th of this year by Alberto Quijano Baniza. And this is very interesting because now we've seen 3 color shifts, red to green to gold. And this is occurring as it's moving into the constellation of Leo.
So we now have 3 distinct color changes, red to green to gold. And Stefan points out that another comet, the C2025 K1 Atlas from our own solar system, has also turned gold recently. And shortly after that color change, it began to fragment. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that 3i Atlas will break apart, but it does suggest the object may be entering a new phase. The most likely explanation is that after burning off its accumulated interstellar material during its close approach to the sun, it is now returning to a dust-dominated state. The green gas emissions have faded and leaving behind this gold-colored dust. But there's so much more to this, so don't go anywhere. We still need to talk about the massive anti-tail and the new anomalies scientists are documenting. One of the most unusual features of 3i Atlas is its anti-tail. Most comets have tails that point away from the sun because of the solar radiation pressure and the solar wind pushing material outward. But 3i Atlas has a jet pointing directly towards the sun. The latest images from December 14th and 15th show this anti-tail extending 500,000 kilometers from the nucleus. This anti-tail is larger than the Earth-Moon distance. No comet has ever displayed an anti-tail this size before.
And what I'm looking forward to is, in particular, knowing the speed of the gas in the jets that we see around the 3i Atlas. One of them is towards the sun, very surprising. We don't see that very often. And if we know the speed and we know the composition of those jets, we can figure out if they are just pockets of ice that are sublimated when exposed to sunlight, or perhaps some technological thrusters.
A new paper from the TA Observatory in the Canary Islands found that the anti-tail jet was actually wobbling with a period of about 7.74 hours before perihelion. And that wobble is caused by the jet processed around the rotation axis of the nucleus, similar to how a lighthouse beam rotates. But here is what Dr. Loeb is calling the 14th anomaly. After perihelion on October 29th, the object flipped orientation relative to the sun. So what was the day side became the night side. Yet 3i Atlas shows a prominent anti-tail jet pointing towards the sun. For that to happen naturally, there would need to be a second pocket of ice near the opposite pole, also aligned within 8 degrees of the rotation axis. The probability of both alignments occurring by chance is about 1 in 40,000. After its closest approach to Earth on December 19th, 3i Atlas will continue outward towards Jupiter, and it is expected to pass near Jupiter in spring of 2026. So if you have the equipment, the next few weeks are the best opportunity to observe this interstellar visitor before it leaves our solar system forever. Whether 3i Atlas turns out to be an unusual natural comet or something that requires new explanations, we are witnessing a historic event in real time. I'm Cristina Gomez, and that is it for today. I will see you again tomorrow at 10 a.m. PST for another UFO news update. Be safe, and remember, keep your eyes on the skies. enjoyed today's show, hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit the notification bell as I do daily UFO news and updates. Fresh UAP stories, government disclosures, and breaking developments land here every single day.